welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Midnight at the Electric by Jodi Lynn Anderson. And we got this as an ER through Edelweiss. Now, this book is told through three perspectives, and I'm having some serious problems figuring out how to explain what this book is, because I just can't do it justice. But I'm going to try. So it's told from three different perspectives. There's Adria in Kansas in 2065. And then there's Catherine in Oklahoma in 1934, and then there's Lenore in England in 1919. So they're all connected, and they kind of achieve the sense of family through time. It's very strange. So Adria is set to go kind of live on Mars. They're colonizing Mars. And as kind of her way to say goodbye to Earth, she finds these letters in this house that she's staying at. She finds a diary, and the diary is Catherine's diary, and she lived during the Dust Bowl, so it kind of talks about her life during the Dust Bowl, which is severely tragic and different things going on there. And then even further in Catherine's life, she kind of comes across and has this connection to Adria, or is it Audrey? No. Lenore is the one who lives in England.
Yes.
It's very, like I said, it's very confusing, and I'm not going to do it justice, but Lenore is living in England during 1919, which is World War I. They're kind of all connected through Galapagos, the journal.
It's confusing as explaining to you, but when you're reading it, it's not confusing.
Right. I was super concerned that this was going to be very hard to follow. I was super concerned that it was going to be very boring. I was super concerned that it wasn't going to connect. But the connections, it's interweaved so well that I think if she added another 500 pages, I could keep reading. If she added more books, I could totally keep reading.
See, and I might have liked it better if she had another 500 pages, because I only cared about Catherine. Audrine and Lenore, Audrine I kind of liked. I thought that was kind of interesting. Lenore, I was like, And I know that we needed Lenore to build the other stories, but I just didn't care about her. And I'm not the biggest fan of stories about Dust Bowl. That was one of those books they always used to make those you have to read those in school. So since I'm still 12 years old, I'm I don't want to read those are for school. But I loved that. I thought that the character I thought she described that so well. I was actually reading it and Googling Dust Bowl facts.
Oh, definitely. I couldn't. This is one of those books I couldn't stop reading. I couldn't stop. The thing is, though, Catherine was the most developed. I agree. Right. I think she could have had a book just about that.
I would have happily read a book just about that.
She would have lost, I think, a lot of the other kind of unique and interesting kind of connections that she has with Adria and Lenore. I think Lenore's perspective was definitely the least developed. I think I was a bit confused as to what happened at the end there.
See, and I felt Catherine had a very ambiguous ending, and that might be one of the reasons I didn't like it as much, because I hate ambiguous endings.
It was all pretty ambiguous, but I think that it was ambiguous in that which made it feel more real, because it was ambiguous for Adria, and I think that was the problem. She needed to have this closure before she left Earth, and it just, I think it was realistic. I mean, if you come across a journal in an old house somewhere, you're not going to know. It is going to be ambiguous. And, at this point in the future, libraries are kind of taking a different kind of space in society. So, I mean, I could see that being very realistic. I would read more. I loved it. I loved every second of it.
I really liked Catherine, and everybody else I was just okay with. So should we just rate it?
Yeah, we can just rate it. Okay, so our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. If it is sucktacular and doesn't deserve a horn, it's a horse. So, all right, where are we at with this one?
So for me, Catherine was a 4, and everybody else was a 2, so I'm giving it a 3.
I'm giving it a 4. I loved it. I thought it was fascinating. I thought the electric was super interesting. I mean,
see, but that's another part that's only really in the Catherine part.
That's true. But I love it, and I think Lenore's kind of love interest, or the guy she meets, that was super interesting.
That was
really, if it had been
was the hard part of
If it had been more developed, that would have been just as strong as Catherine's. And I think Adria, we just didn't get enough of her. I want to see more of her, what's going on kind of, when she's in Mars. Because there's more to be developed there. It was interesting. It was fascinating. It was kind of all of these things that didn't fit together somehow came together and made this awesome book that you can't really even describe.
That is Midnight at the Electric by Jodi Lynn Anderson.
Adios.
Bye.